Hello everyone, Chapman here, and I have a very, very special surprise for you. And we are back in the years 1861 to 1865. It is the American Civil War again, as you can probably tell from the fences, but this is the closed alpha test of Battle Cry of Freedom. So the fine fellows of the Flying Squirrel Enterprises have provided me with a key, and this is one of their service stress tests. And the game has changed significantly since I looked at it in August. And you are probably going to see some great battles, some silly melee, ridiculous people being ridiculous, which is kind of the norm for this lot, and some absolutely stunning visuals, I have to say. So, let's have a look as we fly around here and see all the regiments getting set up. Now, you can see here all the various regiments, player names. You can actually click on these player names and then spectate them. You've got various different sort of sorts. You can see here defending and attacking, all the rest of it. Now, if we press the H key, that brings up the objective. So you can see you've got Sharpsville Road, about 60 metres this way, as we are currently over here with the fine fellows from the 5th Texan. And over here is a field. Yes, I know, who would have thunk it? So, over here it's capture point of the field, quite some distance away. So, yeah, it's pretty open. Now, let's have a look around. Oh, hello. Here's Fortune out in the hill. Look at this. The 15th VR getting set up. Listen to that. Just going to turn those game sounds down a touch. Now, obviously, from a spectator point of view, there are certain tools that are helpful. Obviously, a shift button to speed up the movement. And wonderfully is the sort of the crane the camera function with a simple look like this. Look at that. And here you can see their opposing forces moving across the field over towards this hamlet and the church area. So they're in the churchyard now. Look at this, the Confederate forces moving in. There's spoons, it's the 33rd. Always a pleasure to see. Oh, my goodness, look at these fellows. The 33rd in serious numbers. Look at that, there's Corporal Spoon, or Captain Spoons, I should say. Or Captain Tylerus, my apologies. Who's currently hiding behind the buildings. And there's Kincaid with the colours of the regiment. And you can see these guys continue to work, and they've got a section over here. There's Consweber. And fellows from the 77Y, no doubt. There we go, there's Henker. And these are all the various classes and people that you can have as the 77Y gets set up. There's Angry Piper. And Mercenary Captain, and Slavic, and the man himself, the Ginger Ninja. It is, of course, Aztir. I'm going to turn myself down a little bit. And there's Av. And there he is, of course, High Lord himself. And you can see that fine uniform there. Looking very sexy, clearly. But bear in mind, this is a closed alpha, so, you know, things are... certain details are... you know, maybe a little bit clunky here and there, but generally speaking, I would say it's looking pretty polished. I mean, look at the visuals. Oh my goodness, look at this. And the time, you can see Olafsson has changed the time. So he's doing server admin, and look at this. God, doesn't it look beautiful? And the smoke adding to the atmosphere. And the guys, it means that they can actually do proper attacks and sneak attacks, all that kind of cool stuff. And these fellas here moving over, chasing after these two poor sods. Who are they? Corporal Johnson. And it's Anubis from the 15th YR. Oh, turning to fight against the enemy. And you can see they're getting into it. There we go, he's been horribly murdered. More murderization is occurring. Obviously. Now we move over to the Sharpsfield Road. And we see who is over here. So you can see the 3rd NJ, 3rd New Jersey, I suppose. There's Volk. And others. Oh, they're going to run into the oh, yep, that was over very fast indeed. Yeah, that was a nice ambush. So let's have a look around, see what's going on. Reinforcing. Now, this is good because we can see the red. Means we can get an idea of which side they're on and the forces that are coming to reinforce them. So that's really helpful from a spectator point of view. So these are things that I tend to notice when I'm casting. And obviously, over here, you know, we've got the left shift to speed it up. And I think there's a slow down option as well. I can't remember what the key is for that. But anyway, hello. The 51st Regiment with some artillery. Oh, nice shot there by Glaus. Can he load it in time? It's not looking good. As the officer is returning fire and they've all been murdered. A fine attack there by the members of the Confederate forces. So you can see Confederacy is defending, Union is attacking. Oh, hello. There's Sparky of the 77th. And, of course, Aztir and the boys. Now, let's see what's going on. Look at this. Some fire coming in. The members of the 33rd Regiment continuing to fire, closing up the gaps in the line. Look at that. We'll fly over to see their enemy. Hiding in the cornfield. Members of the Texans. The Texans Regiment, the 5th Texans. Dead noob. 2nd Lieutenant. Aiming with his rifle. Now, obviously, for those of you who are not familiar, the lethal range of these rifles at least 300 feet compared to the 100 feet that is Napoleonic Wars. Thanks to the rifling in the guns that these guys are using. So it makes a significant difference. It also means that because the bullet's travelling faster, the shattering effect on the body is significantly more, which is why a lot of there were a lot of amputations of limbs, etc. in this era and this particular war. 1861 to 1865, for those of you who are not familiar. And for those of you who have anything like Audible, there is a great courses on Audible that has a wonderful series. It's about 23 hours long about the American Civil War. I cannot recommend it highly enough. I may put a link to it at the bottom of the cast on the video when it goes out. So, the 47th Alabama also in with the 5th Texan. And you can also, when you're in the house, you can open the windows. So you can open all these areas, highlight them, hide. You can open the windows. You can then close the shutters to give you a little bit of extra cover. All that kind of funky cool stuff. And in fact, on some of the areas on the map that have a basement, you can hide in the basement. So there are, and some of those areas, when you hide in the basement, you can also still be on the burn area for the flag. So these are very helpful things. It's Swag Custard. Best name in the 33rd, in my opinion. Oh, there's Spunky. And other members here. Corporal Henry. And, of course, the man himself. The Spoons. Taking cover. Look at that fine braid he's got there. So we'll make our way across the battlefield. You can see also, we can see the compass. So we've got an idea, you know, over to the west. Over to the north. These kind of things are helpful because it makes it easier with respect to certain levels of casting that you can say, oh, right, okay, well, let's check over here. You can see over in the west. Now, the thing is, it also means that if you commentate live, you've got to be very careful about not giving away that kind of information. So, let's see what's going on over at Sharpsfield Road, shall we? You can see the puffs of smoke from the rifles. So here is the defensive position of the 33rd. Look at this. Spoons has got the binocs out. And we can zoom in with the mouse wheel to get a good close look at the fella. Look at him, doesn't he look handsome? Bit of mouse wheeling out. Oh, they've got to be careful. They're making their way across open field, so that's going to be an area of possibly difficulty. Now, one thing I have to say is that the music in this game, when you're playing, is phenomenally good. Really, really good. Now, unfortunately, we need to do some testing to find out if the music that's in the game actually creates a content ID problem for YouTube, because that's something that obviously the devs will need to consider. Oh, okay, somebody changed their mind. And now they decided to pull back, and now they've taken some casualties as a result. That'd be why. And also, you're going to have voice over IP as well on here, and sort of local conversation type comms. So that's going to be interesting. Major Maggoth there. And the fine fellows of the 8th LR. Look at this, reloading. Getting that ramrod in there. Oh, goodness. These guys are in trouble. They've been ambushed through the darkness. Look at those God rays coming through. Look at this. Fantastic God rays. And there we go, there's a surgeon. Oh, my goodness. Holy crapola. That was brutal. A definite F in the chat for everyone there. So yeah, definite F there. Now, here you can see the enemy closing in on their opponents. There's Slanter taking a little bit of damage. There's Hit and Blast going in for a stab and a grab. But he manages to catch... Oh, Hit and Blast is down. So. You also have the ability to play the piano in this game. There's also piano and drums and fife and banjo as well. So, who's this last man? And he has been felled. Sergeant Marcus. And we move on to the next round. And we return with the next round. Let's go and have a look at the field, shall we? Look at this. I wonder how high we can go up. Because it also gives us a good idea of their movements. So you look at the way they're spreading out there. Now, I can still see that. You might not be able to see it under the YouTube algorithm for compression and stuff. But it does give you an idea on how they're moving around. I wonder... See, these are the things you think about. I wonder if, you know, you get higher and higher and higher, whether or not it could just show them as a square, you know? So you can say, okay, this regiment is moving from this direction. Here is the regiment moving from this direction. All that kind of stuff. In the kind of, you know, the ways you see big tactical games and things of that nature. That would be a nice touch. I'll talk to the guys whether or not that's a possibility. You know, because maybe it'll be an option for the spectator mode. Because then what it means is you could have, for example, one person doing the camera. And, oh goodness, one person doing sort of an overall battle strategy. type view, which would be nice. But obviously, these are sort of wish list type stuff that may not necessarily be as easy to create as you might think from a coding aspect. So, we'll see. Wow, these boys are enjoying themselves, and look how beautiful this game looks. Wow. And also, hopefully we'll get to see it, is some thunder and lightning, and you get lightning strikes. You can get hit by lightning, which, to be honest, in the middle of a battlefield, it's probably best that your luck runs out that way rather than getting shot, I guess. It'll be over quicker. So, there you can see the regiments moving out. God, they're a noisy bunch, aren't they? You've got guys here defending the roadway, the junction here. And other forces moving up towards Sharpeville Road. And maybe there's some battles going on over by the buildings, which you kind of expect. Yep, that's exactly what's occurring. So these fine fellas over here, here are their enemy. The members of the 51st. Whoa, Nelly. And look at that volumetric smoke. And of course, the most important part, the Kazi. Can't see there's nobody in there right now. Oh, goodness me. Bugler. Seeker. Fantastic stuff. And there is man holding the colours, which, as you can see, proper physicality on the flag. Blows in the wind. And you've got engineers who can build defences. You can even do reverie in this, or reveille, I think is the term. Oh goodness, there we go. See what I mean? About because of the volumetric fogging that occurs in this game, it's possible to do ambushes. Here's Spoons in the 33rd. Charging forward. Against the enemy. Whoa, Nelly! Those are the various cartridges or options for shooting from the cannons that you have. Cannonballs, explosive shots, all that kind of stuff. And look at this as the 33rd charge towards the battle. Taking cover behind the fences. As I pause to scratch. And supported by their teammates over here on the left flank of the 33rd. That could be a problem for the 33rd. They may have to retreat, yeah. They've taken quite a few casualties down here at defense position. And they may have to retreat as a result of that. These numbers. Looking pretty brutal. Look at that. And there you go, you can see them moving, trying to take cover behind the house. So that they can at least fire back against the enemy. But they're in danger of being outflanked on their left. The house will give them cover from those guys, but not from those guys. Now, whether or not those guys are going to move, yes, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're moving further to the right to try and get a good shot onto the enemy. It is the 5th Texans. Taking pot shots at their enemies. Forcing them to push back. Which is definitely good strategy as far as we can see. And these guys doing a good job of holding this position against the onslaught of the 33rd. And you can see, obviously, being dug in and behind cover. Really helpful. Really helpful indeed. You've also got a set over here of attackers. Over here in the fields. Members of the 27th North Carolina Division. There's Sonderskov. First Lieutenant. And so they are looking to push into that position as well. So it's a difficult position as far as the Union forces are concerned. They are in danger of being surrounded by attacks on all sides. And it's going to be a difficult position for them. But if we look over here, you can see these guys have moved back. They're now going to be looking to hold this particular flag. Wow. Now, how are they doing over here? Major High Lord. Officer in charge. Deciding to cheese it for obvious reasons. Reforming with teammates from the 15th YR. And listen to those bullets whistling through the trees. And those shots do have a nice satisfying bassy feel to them, I think. And now the guys decide to move back. The members of the 8th LR move back to a defensive position, and here they are. Look at these fellows. Don't they look wonderful? Here we go. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, what's going on over here? Some support. Some cover being provided by the gentleman from the 8th Virginia. Engineering work from Marcus there from the 5th Texans. And look at that volumetric sunset and the fog. Oh, it's just beautiful. Looks so nice. And obviously the commands to fire. You have all those options in the bugle. So you can actually do proper sort of role playing. So they won't fire until they're told by the bugler. All that kind of stuff. Marcus with digging some reinforcement barricades for them. Whoa! That whistled past with a fair old rate, didn't it? We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But look at that, Old Glory herself being carried by the Union forces held proudly. Reinforcements coming in from the 8th LR as they make their way past. Fantastic stuff. Listen to that. The whistle of impending doom. So let's have a look at our numbers. 38 versus 34. It's still all to play for. And now we look through the fog and the smoke to Angry Piper and the other members of the 77th. There's Drass. There's Sink. Wow. And they're supported on their right flank by the members of the 33rd. Who's this man cheesing it? Aztir. Where's he going? Aztir's up to something. We'll have to wait and see. And look at that, you can shoulder arms as well to help you run a bit faster. You have an option for running standardly and also walking, but you also have the Alt key for sprinting. But there is stamina in the game, and you have the option to, you know, run for it properly, but also it means that you can run out of puff. And I believe that the stamina will also affect your ability to shoot accurately. So making his way through the fields, possibly of corn. I'm not familiar. I don't have much crop knowledge, I'm afraid. Oh, what's going on here? There we go. He's found a friendly. So a couple of friendlies out in the field. There's Fortune Zero and Mercenary Captain. So they've managed to be found by Astir. So who's probably leading them back? Yep, there we go. So he's gone out to find his lads. He's found the two that were on their own and is now returning them to the regiment. Because obviously the firepower will be helpful. And you can see people loving the tunes. Which, unfortunately, until I can verify that it doesn't set it off on YouTube Content ID, I have to have it turned off. Oh, dear. The 47th Alabama and the 5th Texans taking some damage there. It's Private Anthony from the 17th Alabama taking cover. So, let's see. Let's move into this particular hamlet. And you can see here it's being defended ably by the members of the 8th LR, which are getting less and less by the moment, as you can see here, the casualties. There we go, even the Kazi is working. So these are the guys that they're fighting against, the 77Y. And the 33rd, I believe. And look at that, time is ticking. Keep an eye on the clock, you get 1 extra minute. So there we go, the 27th North Carolinian Regiment assisting the 77th. And there may be an all charge. We'll have to wait and see. Cannonballs flying past the camera. Sounds so good. Oh dear, did the bugler just get shot? Yes, I think they just shot the bugler. F in the chat for the bugler. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. The explosion coming in. Let's have a look around, shall we? Here we go, the 8th. Yellow on the way. Here we go. Here's the all charge, boys and girls. You can see the two forces getting ready to engage. 12 versus 22. So I think it's fair to say the Confederacy have all the work to do. Now bear in mind, obviously, the melee is similar in some ways to Warband, but not the same. There are differences. Look at this. And down he goes. Fried J. Colonel Stalker is finished off from the 51st. Who's left? There's Fralla. He goes down. And Sandersov brutally murdered. So. Aha. The remaining forces, perchance? Yes, 4 remain alive. There's White Knight. And Jacob. Look at this as the sun starts to set. The battle. The final aspects of the battle continue. Oh, Charlie the Turtle's in there with his reloading wand. Oh, he's up, got 3 men against him, and there was no more. And the Union are victorious, and we move on to the next round. We're back on the next round. It's a new map. So let's go and say hello to everyone. Mercenary Captain of the 77Y. Who's currently on his lonesome. There you go. You can see there, you can shoulder the weapon. And then hold it in your hand while you run a bit faster. So, interesting. Oh my goodness. And there we go. We're going to go live on reset. And you can see you've also got purple admin chat available. You've got your, obviously, your standard group chat and global chat on the far left. There's the compass showing the direction, the time, and also the kills on the top left hand corner. So, let's find out what these fine fellows over here by the Union spawn are doing. As you can see here. Now, one thing you can do is you can drag ammo boxes from the carriage to the location where the cannon is set up. And then you can use those to rearm your cannons once they're done. So we got Fortune here, who seems to be having a technical problem with the cannon. But there we go. Vector scope in, Corporal for the 51st. Gonna be looking to reload. You can see these have already got built-in barricades.
We got him on the road.
Oh goodness me, look at this.
Give him cold steel.
As they are making their way out, press H to find out where the objectives is. The field's there. And the artillery battery. So, off to the fields we go. Crikey. Colonel Stalker of the 51st. Moving out, you can see he's got his pistol. 6-shooter. Definitely helpful in the battle. Now, where is their enemy? Listen to those voices. Aha! That looks very enemy-like. And they are taking a defensive position already.
Give them the bayonet.
And Corporal Sandman with the fife. Fantastic stuff. And there's Rickett of the 15th YR with his officer's pistol. Now, as with Napoleonic Wars, there are bonuses that the players get by having an officer or musicians nearby. Now, obviously, on Napoleonic Wars, generally it was turned off because it used to lag the server. But it does not appear to be the case yet on this game. Oh my goodness, look at all these fellows. The 33rd. Lined up and getting ready. What is going on in the building? It looks like somebody's stuck and can't get out. There we go. So, extra reinforcements coming up here. Got to be careful not to run through the bullets. And some of them are running through and ducking, which is smart thinking. But look at all that smoke coming in. And that's where they're shooting at. And they force them to flee their position. Let's see how many casualties they've got around here. Yeah, they've taken about 6 or 7 casualties out of their number of probably about 20 maybe. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. For them, they've decided to pull back to better cover through the orchard behind the wooden fences. But they've also got support and cover from other regiments elsewhere on the battlefield. So, There you can see another regiment moving over to their far left flank, so to speak, of this enemy who's sitting here. Maybe to try an outflanking manoeuvre sort of round the side of the fences and in through the side here towards the orchard and the cornfields. We'll have to wait and see how that turns out for them. But hopefully so I need to ask basically, will there be a thunderstorm around? Because this game with thunderstorms is pretty impressive. So, the problem obviously is from a technical point of view, you know, rain basically means more things to process. And, you know, can cause problems for some of the players who obviously do not necessarily have the high spec machines that other players do. Because of, you know, the standard limitations of life, you know how it is. Now, see, this is the house where you can open the window or break it, but you can also then close the shutters as well, see? So these are the things that you can do in a house in defensive positions. Veteran Adam. Now, let's see. Fifing continuing. Got a nice little encampment here. So you can see the owner of the flag for the artillery battery and the owner of the fields. So we're looking to the north here. Getting an idea of what's going on. What's going on over here. The members of the 51st coming under fire from a the 15th YR, and they're also then taking casualties from these fellas.
Let's go, boys!
Look at that, the 51st firing through the trees. And there's Captain Rickett getting out the sword. Correction, being retired. Fine fifing being done as well. Lieutenant Colonel, or Lieutenant Colonel Irish. Okay. So there may be a thunderstorm round after the event, because obviously, you know, they want to test certain aspects. This is a technical test. You test certain aspects, you know, reliability of the game, performance of the server under certain conditions, all sorts of various things that these guys need to do on a technical level. Aside, obviously, things like, you know, engine tests. Oh, goodness. Wow. Yeah, these guys really need to take a knee. The 63rd New York, along with the members of the 8th LR. Let's see. So, the range is still pretty good on those guns. They're getting a good number of kills. And these guys are being... Oh, hello. Did I see some movement over here? I did. The cannon. The Union cannon position, you can see there. Glau's derping out a little bit. Here we go. Let's watch the cannon get fired. Wow. And one thing you can do in this game is you can, as I saw earlier, you can chop down trees. And if a tree falls on a person, it knocks them to the ground. That's another mechanic that you get in the game. You can actually knock people to the ground, as one of the cheeky buggers was doing earlier on in the game when I was in there. Basically, just kept knocking me to the ground. As soon as I tried to stand up, would knock me down to the ground again. It's kind of funny in hindsight, but yeah. I'm sure we'll see a rash of those when the game is released. But we'll wait and see. So, you know, all these kind of things. See, now look. This is a standard house. And you've obviously got protective areas that people can hide in. No basement. Oh, correction. A basement that you can hide in. Very helpful as well. But this is a basement that only has external access. You can't get access to the basement any other way. So it's not like you could use the basement entrance to get access to the rest of the house. But yeah, a fine hamlet. So, let's see. Now, I'm just wondering, if in spectator mode you were to press M, for example. Oh, pole. Interesting. So, let's have a look and see these fine fellows are doing. The remaining members of the 8th LR. So, let's have a look. Union have 37. Sorry, Confederacy have 37. Union have 7. This is not going to go well, as these fellas are basically going to show. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, okay. You even get musical accompaniment during the murdering. Isn't that lovely? Look at that, bare feet. Lance Corporal Sadman. Two of the Union remain. Oh, hello. Last man standing. And he ain't standing no more. When Johnny goes marching home indeed. Oh, goodness me. Fortune with serious core strength there. Carrying an ammunition box over to the cannon position. Goodness me, look at that. The forces move out. Now, obviously, you know, sometimes it's a little difficult to see the name over the top of the head. But obviously, these are things that are subject to being tweaked by the developers. Now, let's see. Oh dear. That's going to be bad news for Stalker. He just took a bullet. Oh, goodness. I think we just lost Melchett. Corporal. Shot from 172 meters away. See, that's the thing. I wonder if it's possible to change that. Maybe it's a server configuration to put it in feet rather than meters. But, you know, I don't know. It depends. Because, I mean, you know, 72 meters doesn't mean much to me. I think it's about 130 odd feet. So, anyway. Oh, hello. Let's turn off the flag indicators. Look at all these fellas. Don't they look fantastic? With Doc Profit at the back. I'm loving the ability to crane over people with the spectator mode. One thing they have done, I haven't played around with it yet, is they've also added the ability to mark certain places as favourites. So you can, in spectator mode that is, so you can basically press a key and go to a particular favourite. And that can be, you know, so it could be this house, for example. And so we could quickly zoom to this house. So we'll see. There's Charles, L'Affaire of Charles. And there's Slavic from the 70s NY. There's Henker as well. There's Av. Mini Mario. Wearing a fine hat. Sporting a wonderful beard. And strange trousers. But anyway. There's Sparky the Sergeant. And there's Captain Sink. Listen to that cannonball whistling over the top of the boys' heads. Now, who are they up against? They must be firing at somebody, possibly in the woods. Listen, see that? That was an explosive shell. Aha! We have found their opponents. Admiral Pingo, I presume. From the 3rd New Jersey. Look at these guys, don't they look fantastic? Moving forward, making use of the cover available to them. And these fences offering a lot more cover to the feet, obviously. And there's Cajun with his fine fifing work. And there we go, the opposing forces of the Confederacy have forced the enemy to move back, with consistent fire into the orchard and around the housing area. Now, look at this. The 33rd, there's Duffman, Ensign. And there he is. There's Salzar from the 33rd. Got the name right for a change. Noisy bunch, aren't they? And there's Tylorus with his captain's pistol in hand. And we move up to the front. The man himself, Mr. Spoons. Lieutenant Colonel. Oh, look at this. Running on a outflanking position. The 51st about to take a lot of shots. Whoa! Holy crap. That was a very, very opportunistic shot. Colonel Stalker, the last stand of the 51st. And he ain't standing no more. Holy crap, that was incredible. Wonderful timing by the cannon. And there's lots of Fs in chat for that. A lot of Fs. Just glad I caught it on camera. Olaf was the first person to die by falling tree. Yeah, that would be hysterically funny. And obviously there is light infantry in this game as well. And so there are various tactics you can use relating to the light infantry and the benefits of said light infantry. So yeah, in an event, basically, poor Olafsson from the Flying Squirrel Enterprises killed by a falling tree trunk. So if you ever meet him, make sure you ask him if he got wood. So, who's this over here? Or who are these? 27th North Carolina Regiment looking to do an outflanking maneuver on the enemy. Now, you can see these boys here forcing the issue with very aggressive play. It's the 77Y. Now pushing forward even further to try and take on these boys here from the 47th Alabama and the fellows from the Texan Brigades. Look at this. There we go, fire coming in. See, now I'm just thinking, I literally just thought I'd press M on the keyboard to find out if there could be a map view. See, literally like a quick overview map view, sort of up high like this, showing maybe the entire map. I don't know if it's technically achievable for them, whether or not it can be done. See, this is how far we're going out at the moment, and there you can see the entire map. So it might not actually be technically achievable from that point of view, which is a pity, but we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. But it gives you an idea of the general scale of this game and the maps that are being fought upon. So here we are back. Oh, crikey. And look at that destruction of the wooden barricades and the people sitting around them is occurring. There's poor old Telford with a bit of shell shock by the looks of it. He deciding to move back with his squad mates. And the cries of victory from the opposing forces. There's Tyler from the 33rd. And they're now moving into a stronger position as far as they're concerned. We scroll down the road here as they continue to look about for more enemies. Oh, hello. What's this? Somebody just fire out of the Kazi. Yes. I knew it. There's somebody ninja-like in the Kazi. He's reloading. Could this be the Battle of Kazi? Battle of Kazi Pass. Hello. Oh, it's friendly. So yeah, maybe after the event we'll get a quick thunderstorm round so we can show you. God, they're a noisy bunch. Look at them all. We get a thunderstorm round so we can show you the lightning and the rain and all the rest of it. As the boys move up. Oh, goodness, look at this. Really close in here. Look at this. Charging in now. Vaulting over the fences. There is a separate key for vaulting over high walls and fences. And now these guys are moving out to try and back off. They've lost that house. They can't hold it with the numbers they've got. They have been overrun. And sensibly they have moved out. Look at them. Look at these guys. No sense of arboreal respect right there. Crimes against trees are being committed right now. Look at that little bullet strikes on the rocks. Cajun with fine fifing work. And we watch the members of the Alabama Regiment, the 47th. Look at this in the cornfields. Oh, hello. This might be a fight that you may not be able to win, fellas. Slavic, Av, and Drax. Yep, down goes the officer. And now they're being outflanked. Look at this. They sent a small squad out to take out the enemy. One down. So these guys are going to have to move to behind bigger cover. Or better cover, I should say. Yep, that's what happens if you don't. Shot in the back. And it's time to cheese it, fellas. Lefebvre Charles fighting for his life against the enemy. And unfortunately shouldered his weapon and then got stabbed in the belly. Oh heavens, who's running around there? There's a lass with a nice pistol murder. Out comes the saber. Oh, in the back. And he's going after the cannons. And down he goes until the fire comes in. Oh, that was brutal. The fire coming in from the 33rd. Sustained line coming in from the Confederate. The Union forces have overrun, or sorry, the Confederate forces have overrun the Union cannon. And now they can move up. Let's have a look at the numbers here. 22 versus 7 Union. There we go. We're going to call this as a Confederate state victory. And thank you for coming. I hope you boys and girls have enjoyed the game. The battles that you've seen. Definitely have. It's been good. Oh, Sharp's Farm, no less. Just so you know, boys and girls, this is what we're talking about with a thunderstorm. Lightning strikes. Pouring rain. The rumble of thunder. If you get hit by one of these lightning strikes, it will kill you. Just like real life. See what I mean? And one of the things they can also do is increase the fog. So you can have very foggy mornings where it's difficult to see the enemy. And this can all be controlled via the server. Add to the immersion. Obviously it's going to make it interesting for events. All kinds of stuff. I mean, I was playing with some of the 77Y the other night, and we had literally lightning strike probably 20 or 30 feet to one side away from us, and it was quite intense. So anything's possible. Anyway, I hope you boys and girls have enjoyed this sneak peek at the alpha of Battle Cry of Freedom. Obviously, still plenty of work to be done, but the devs are working hard to make it as enjoyable and look as amazing as possible. So, all good in the hood, so to speak. This tree's being... That's one thing that did happen. Lightning struck a tree and just blew the tree to bits. And that's part of the immersiveness of the game. So you can see some of these trees being shattered by Lightning strikes. All part of the fun. See what I mean? Just looks amazing. And hopefully we'll be able to bring you some more line battles with sneak peeks as the general improvements continue on the game. Maybe we'll get a foggy volumetric map where your officers can carry lanterns in their loadout if they wish. Oh, you know it's Flores with a nice kill on his enemy from the NR9. So, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That has been Battle Cry of Freedom.